Live from RedZone Weather, this is a severe weather alert.
A new tornado warning has just been triggered for southeastern Okaloosa County. We now have a tornado warning for Destin. Good Sunday afternoon to you. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. We had several tornado warnings earlier. We now have another one, and we actually have multiple tornado warnings to tell you about on this Sunday evening. If you are in Destin, I need you to get to your tornado safe place right now. This is a serious situation with a storm coming in off of the Gulf of Mexico, and again, a tornado warning has just been triggered for portions of Okaloosa County near Destin. Let's actually zoom in there and show you exactly where this warning is for, and we actually have now a new tornado warning that is being triggered for portions of Baldwin County, Alabama, and Escambia County, Florida. So just as I say that, we now have two tornado warnings. First, let's look at Okaloosa County. If you're in Crestview, you're fine. Same thing in Baker, same thing in Milligan, same thing in Niceville. This tornado warning is not for you, but if you're in Destin, you are under a tornado warning. This is the only area in Okaloosa County here on Choctawhatchee Bay near Destin. You are under a tornado warning. Same thing over here in Walton County near Santa Rosa Beach, near Portland, near Villarico, near Freeport. Tornado warning there due to this storm moving off of the Gulf of Mexico. But we also have a new tornado warning that has actually just been triggered for portions of Baldwin County, Alabama as well, near Foley. And so this is a separate tornado warning. Two tornado warnings issued in the last 2 minutes, one of which is for Okaloosa County near Destin. The other is for South Baldwin County near Foley. And so if you are near Foley or Robertsdale, we need you to get to your tornado safe place as well, as we've got this storm that is now moving in from the Gulf. And so again, over the last few minutes, we've had now two tornado warnings that have just been issued. So let's kind of set the scene here of what we've got going on. In the last few minutes, since we left you with the previous round of tornado warnings, we've got now a new tornado watch for much of southeast Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. And if you're in South Baldwin County, south of Interstate 10, near Foley and near Robertsdale, you are also under a tornado warning. Also near Alberta here, south of Interstate 10, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach are not included. But now two tornado warnings that are on the board. And I'm actually going to get out one of our RedZone Weather alerts to our RedZone Weather app, again, for South Baldwin County. And I realize that weather radios and wireless emergency alerts are going off in southern Escambia County here in Florida, but this is not for Pensacola. If you're in Pensacola, you are not under a tornado warning. This is for South Baldwin County and also a small sliver of Escambia County in northwest Florida. This has nothing to do with Escambia County in Alabama. So again, if you are in, let's see here, you've got areas near Foley, Summerdale, also Robertsdale included in this tornado warning that is going to be valid, let's see here, until 4 p.m. And that's due to the fact that we have a funnel cloud. Actually, the Weather Service is now reporting that we've got a funnel cloud near Foley, so this storm very well could be producing a tornado. I'm getting this alert out now. And if you're in Baldwin County, you're actually about to receive one of our RedZone Weather alerts. We actually just sent that out. And again, if you're in Okaloosa County, a tornado warning near Destin as well. You need to be in that tornado safe place. A lot of things happening very, very quickly this afternoon. But the two main concerns are in South Baldwin County and in Okaloosa County in Florida. Again, I realize that a small sliver of Escambia County in Florida is included, but this does not include the Pensacola Metro, which is right here. Okay, so now that we've sent out those alerts, let's talk about these warnings, and we'll take them one at a time. Let's start with South Baldwin County. And again, there has been a confirmed funnel cloud, according to the National Weather Service, near Foley. And this storm has a very distinct structure. There very well could be a tornado near Foley happening right now. And so if you are near Foley, anywhere near the Tanger outlets, anywhere near Chick-fil-A, Home Depot, Lambert's Cafe, anywhere near Foley High School, Foley Elementary School. Be in a tornado-safe place, as we now have a possible tornado on top of Foley moving just like this. There's Alberta. This is US Highway 98 right in through here as this storm is moving just like that. And so again, possible tornado near Foley. This is tornado warning polygon number 1 for South Baldwin County. If you're in Summerdale, Robertsdale, along Alabama Highway 59, we need you to be in a tornado-safe place as well, as we now have an active tornado warning for you. Lowest floor, site-built structure, away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Let's go back over to our storm in Destin, and I'll be honest with you. This storm is going to be very shortly moving into Walton County. And so here's Sandestin right there, the big resort. Destin proper sits right here. You've got Mid-Bay Bridge right there. And this tornado warning is for, in Okaloosa County, is strictly for areas near Destin. If you're near the Commons, which is right there on the main drag where Bass Pro Shop, you've also got several other stores like Belk there at the Commons in Destin. Anywhere near the Commons, anywhere near the beachfront, anywhere near Choctawhatchee Bay in Destin. Right here, I need you to be in a tornado-safe place, as we've got this possible tornado moving into areas like Sandestin. And look, you've got the county line right in through here, but Destin and Miramar Beach, it all kind of blends together there on the main drag. That is 98 down there. And so it doesn't matter where you are. Destin, Sandestin, areas near Miramar Beach, areas near Santa Rosa Beach, areas near Freeport in southern Walton County. Be in a tornado-safe place, as a possible waterspout and tornado is moving near Sandestin. I'm talking right now. And so be in that tornado-safe place if you're in those areas. Let's go back over to our storm in South Baldwin County. I think clearly this is potentially the stronger of the two storms, and I'm actually going to load the velocity from our National Weather Service radar in Mobile to show you this in high definition. If you will, take me over to the iPad, please, ma'am. And just to set the scene here for you, this is the base velocity product coming off NWS Mobile's radar there at the Mobile Regional Airport. So geek talk to say your possible tornado is going to be right in through here. And I'll fast forward to the most recent frame we have. I think clearly the greatest threat in Foley is going to be to the east of Alabama Highway 59, but doesn't matter where you are. If you have a Foley zip code, be in that tornado-safe place now, as this possible storm is on top of you in Foley and Alberta. Can't stress this enough. If this storm isn't on top of you yet, it very well could be in a matter of moments. And so areas near Alberta, Foley, the Barron Naval Outlying Field, areas near the Tanger Outlet Mall, Lambert's Cafe, also at Home Depot. There's a Chick-fil-A right in through there as well. Clearly, this is going to be the main threat zone. And again, as a course of least regret, if you're in Summerdale, I want you to stay in that tornado-safe place. But I think in Summerdale and Robertsdale, I'll be able to give you an all clear in the next 5 minutes, as clearly the threat is going to be out here to the south and to the east of you if you're in Robertsdale and Summerdale. So again, Foley, Alberta, be in that tornado-safe place. And also out in this area, you've got the Summerdale Naval Outlying Field is right in through here. And so that's the closest thing in terms of a population center. This is actually going to be headed towards places like Seminole and Elsinore over the next little bit. And let me just say, if you are in Elsinore or you're in Seminole, you need to be in that tornado-safe place. This tornado warning polygon does include your area. This is Interstate 10, that dark blue line you see there. This is US Highway 90 here. This is US Highway 98. Alabama 59 is right here. And also, let me say, if you're on the eastern shore, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Montrose, Fairhope, Point Clear, no issues for you. This tornado warning is well to your east. Same thing in Loxley. If you're in Loxley proper there near the Love's gas station and the McDonald's, right in through there, near the Loxley exit of Interstate 10, you're fine. This is not for you. This is to your southeast. But again, call to action for Foley, Alberta, Elsinore right here. Summerdale Naval Outlying Field is a little airport right here. And like we talked about, I know you got a weather radio or a wireless emergency alert if you're in Escambia County, Florida. This is the Perdido River right here, And you've got the Pensacola Metro here. In fact, that's downtown Pensacola. This is 110. This is Interstate 10. And this tornado warning is for areas even to the west of Beulah. And so if you know where Beulah is, in fact, go back over to the Live Doppler Plus, please, ma'am, and we'll show you why you got an alert if you are in Escambia County in Florida. Again, here's Beulah, but the polygon is really back to the southwest. And so again, Perdido River right here, US Highway 90 here, Beulah back to the southwest towards Seminole, which is right here. Be in your tornado safe place. And look, if I'm in Beulah as a course of least regret, you may go ahead and get in that tornado safe place. And by the way, if this thing continues, it's going to be coming out here into a very rural part of Baldwin County. This is County Highway 112 here. Here's Barano Park. That's US Highway 29. And so Molino, Barano Park, areas near McDavid and Quintet and Cottage Hill right there on the US Highway 29 corridor, those will be the next communities in line if this thing holds its strength. And so I'm just giving you a heads up in those areas. Be ready to act if this thing holds its strength. Hopefully it will weaken. Back over to the iPad we go, and we'll show you that I think clearly this couplet is definitely capable of producing a tornado. Again, right now along US Highway 98 near Alberta, near Foley, and also near Owa. If you know where the new amusement park is, near Owa. This thing is on top of areas near Owa on the eastern side of the Foley area. And so be in that tornado safe place. If you live within 5 miles of Owa, you need to be in that tornado safe place in South Baldwin County. Let's go back over to our Okaloosa County storm. Back to the other source, please. And we'll show you, again, bouncing back and forth. So here is Northwest Florida. Here's Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton counties here. Here's Bay County. And you have this tornado warning storm that is now very near Destin. And so here's the deal. If you're in Niceville, if you are near Mary Esther, Fort Walton Beach even, you've got the airport right here, the Valparaiso Airport, which is the Northwest Florida branded airport there. Same thing in Crestview, Baker, Laurel Hill, Auburn, Florida. You're fine. This is strictly for Destin, is where we have this tornado warning. And Sandestin is here. You've got the Tanger Outlet Mall there in Sandestin as well. We got 2 outlet malls under a tornado warning. But look, if you live anywhere near the outlet mall, anywhere near the Destin Commons, along US Highway 98, there's a Chicken Salad Chick right here. There's other areas that we love as well. Right in through here near Destin, along Choctawhatchee Bay, be in a tornado-safe place, as we could have a possible tornado on your doorstep, if not now, in moments, in Sandestin. That whole beach resort needs to be in lockdown, in tornado warning mode, as this thing is about to cross the bay and really get into southern Walton County. And so the good news is, if you're in Destin, I'll be able to give you an all clear in a matter of moments. Again, we are here because we now have 2 active tornado warnings as of 3:38 p.m. here in Southwest Alabama and in Northwest Florida. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Bentley Martin, who's executive producing the broadcast today. We thank her for her service. And here's the deal, just to kind of reset. I know that we've got many folks watching from around the region. If you are in Thomasville, if you're in Monroeville, Bruton, Evergreen, Greenville, Jackson, Grove Hill, Chatham, you are fine for now. In fact, I'm looking out the window and I see sunshine in Bruton. And so we don't have issues right now. The issues are in South Baldwin County and also in really Walton County, coming into areas like Santa Rosa Beach and Freeport. Destin is still under the gun from a tornado warning. And if you're in Destin, I want you to stay in that safe shelter for the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes. We also note that there is a tornado warning for portions of Dale, Henry, and Houston County. This is just to the west of the Dothan metro area. And so this is out here near Fort Rucker and places in the southeastern part of Henry County. We also note another tornado warning in Barber County in East Alabama. We'll let the Dothan TV market take care of them, but again, this is the area that belongs to us. Let's go over to the iPad. We're going to zoom in here to South Baldwin County, and if you'll change that banner to tornado warning, these are really have been on the board now for about 10 minutes. If you are in Foley, Alberta, areas right here near Elsinore, which is a community right there. Summerdale Naval Outlying Field. Be in a tornado-safe place, as we've got a possible tornado moving just like this. Again, US Highway 98, if you live within, say 5 miles of US Highway 98, especially on the north side here in Baldwin County, you need to be in a tornado safe place. Here's US Highway 90 that connects Robertsdale ultimately over to Pensacola. And so again, no travel on US Highway 90 and no travel on Interstate 10 from the Loxley exit all the way back over here to the Beulah exit across the state line into Florida. Again, absolutely no travel. If you're traveling eastbound, perhaps from Mobile to Pensacola, get off at Loxley and stop there at the Love's gas station. Same thing at McDonald's right in here. If you're traveling westbound, perhaps from Pensacola back over to Mobile, you need to get off the interstate at the Highway 29 exit, which is at the main north-south thoroughfare there in Escambia County, Florida. So again, no travel on Interstate 10, no travel on Highway 90 in South Baldwin County, and certainly no travel on US Highway 98 to the east of Foley to the west of Warrington near NAS. No travel back into this mess. I tell you what, that couplet right there is really wrapping up over the last few frames. And again, this is kind of the deal that we've got going on. That's a terrible arrow, but you get the idea. Inflow here and outflow there. You got a counterclockwise circulation on top of Alberta. I'm telling you what, I wouldn't be shocked if this thing is putting down a tornado right now in South Baldwin County. That is not something you want to see on our radar. In fact, let's go over to correlation coefficient and check out, see if we've had any things being lofted into the sky. You know, this is not a product I like to use, but we are blessed with dual polarization in the radar. This can tell us exactly what's happening. The good news is I'm not seeing a TDS, or a tornadic debris signature, on correlation coefficient. But again, that doesn't mean that we don't have potentially a tornado down. Let me kind of back up and just have one final look to make sure that there's some stuff in here per se, but look, this doesn't mean there's not a tornado down. The couplet is very well defined. Right in through there is where we would look for that TDS. I'm going to put my finger right there, and yeah, there's just nothing there at the moment. And so again, we're watching the back flank of this storm near Alberta. Very heavy rain north of Alberta there, but again, not seeing any debris being lofted into the sky. That's not to say that we don't have a tornado down. We very well might near Alberta, moving off to the northeast. Let's go back over to the other radar source, please, and I want to check on this warning over in Okaloosa County. Again, what we're doing is bebopping back and forth. All right, and we now have a cancellation to report. This is good news. If you are in Okaloosa County, if you are on the Okaloosa County side of Destin, in other words, not Miramar Beach, not Santa Rosa Beach, not Freeport, but Destin. I'm talking Destin proper here. I'll give you an all clear. The tornado threat has clearly now passed to your northeast. But again, if you're in Sandestin, which is the beach resort on the Walton County side of Destin per se, we need you to stay sheltered. So again, Sandestin, Villarico, also areas near Freeport, Choctawhatchee Bay, right there. That's where we could have this possible tornado in southwestern Walton County near Miramar Beach, crossing the bay into areas like Freeport. So again, the entirety of Okaloosa County will give you an all clear for now as the tornado threat has ended. So here's the deal. Once you're in Walton County, you belong to NWS Tallahassee, and you actually go out of our primary coverage area. So again, let me just reiterate. Let me zoom in here. If you are in Freeport, areas near Choctaw Beach, Villarico, Driftwood Estates, we need you in a safe place. But that's going to be our coverage for that storm, as it is now out of Okaloosa County, and we've given all of Okaloosa County, including Destin, an all clear. Again, this warning was never for Crestview, Fort Walton, Baker, or Milligan. It was strictly for Destin, but now that is off the board. So we're down to one, and I tell you what, this is a booger of a storm right in through here. You see that little notch right there? That is mighty, mighty suspicious, and I would not be shocked in the least if this thing is producing a tornado very near or just to the north of Elba. In fact, let me check a few other things here. And by the way, the NWS is noting exactly what we've been saying, that this circulation is heading towards the vicinity of Elsinore and Seminole. Elsinore is here. This is U.S. Highway number 90. 98's here. This is 90. Seminole is here. And so absolutely no travel to the west of Beulah along U.S. Highway 90. No travel east of Robertsdale on 90. And again, no travel from Loxley all the way back over here to the West Florida Beulah exit across the state line on Interstate 10. And so 1, 2, 3, 10, 90, 98. No travel between Pensacola and the central part of Baldwin County. Go over to the iPad super briefly, please. And I tell you what, this is one of the best signatures we've seen all day. Now, granted, this is in closer proximity to the radar beam, and at this height, that radar beam back in Mobile is hitting this at about 2,000 to 3,000 feet off the ground. But at 2,000 feet, when you see a signature like that, that very well could be a tornado. Again, just to the north of Alberta. And by the way, if you are in Foley, if you live in the middle part of Foley, near the high school, near the elementary school, near the Tanger Outlet Mall, same thing in Summerdale, same thing in Robertsdale, I'll give you an all clear. However, I don't want it to be confusing because I know we do have some folks in the warning that still have a Foley zip code on their home address. Basically, from Owa back to the northeast, those are the areas still involved in this tornado warning. But again, for areas in the heart of Foley, near Chick-fil-A, near Home Depot, near Lambert's Cafe, and the high school and elementary school, I'll give you an all clear. The tornado threat has clearly shifted to your northeast. Again, Alberta, stay sheltered. Same thing in Seminole and Elsinore in southern Baldwin County. Current time is 3:46 p.m. And let's see here if we can, if you'll tilt that far, if you'll tilt that one to me so I can kind of see where I'm going. What I want to do, use that black mouse and hit that blue icon at the bottom in the middle. Yeah, that one, the blue one. Yeah, hit that one. And I want to show these folks the tornado watch graphic. There you go. And then go ahead and click play, if you will. And what we're going to do is show you exactly who is involved in this new tornado watch. Again, tornado warning continues for Elsinore, Seminole, and southern Baldwin County. There we go. Let's go over to graphics if we can. And we should note, again, a tornado watch has been posted for Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Covington, Crenshaw, and much of South and East Alabama. Dothan, Enterprise, Elba, also areas near Geneva, Troy, Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika, all included in a tornado watch until 9 o'clock. We all know the difference in a tornado watch and warning. A watch means that we've got to be ready to do something about it when a warning is issued. We actually have a current tornado warning. Let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus, please, ma'am. And again, this is for South Baldwin County. It's weird. Baldwin County is not included in the tornado watch. This cell is kind of back to the west of the core flank of where the Storm Prediction Center thinks that severe weather will happen today. But again, just because you're not in a watch doesn't mean that you won't be in a warning. And we see a classic example of that here in South Baldwin County. Let me reiterate too, if you're in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Fort Morgan, Bon Secour, Magnolia Springs, Point Clear, Fairhope, Montrose, Daphne, Spanish Fort, or Loxley. I realize you're south of I-10 in most cases, but you are not under a tornado warning in those communities that I just called out. This warning is strictly for areas to the northeast of Foley out here towards Elsinore and Seminole. And, you know, like 12 years ago, the Weather Service switched from issuing county-wide warnings to these beautiful little polygons. It's just a great thing because we can warn the folks who are involved in a tornado warning and leave the folks out who may not be. And so Baldwin is actually the largest county by area in Alabama. This is for a small part of Baldwin County. Let's zoom in there and we'll show you exactly where this possible tornado is. Going to be right in through here on the back flank. In fact, right there where you see the little mouse cursor is where we have a possible tornado. And again, it's moving towards US Highway 90 right here. This is Elsinore. This is Seminole. Here's the Perdido River right here. And again, if you are in Seminole or Elsinore, we need you to be in a safe place as this possible tornado is on top of you. Let's go back over to the iPad and I'll show you this as well. This is a bit of good news. We saw this view about 5 minutes ago. It hadn't been long at all, about 5 minutes ago. But now you see this, and this is broad rotation. In other words, the couplet has weakened just a bit. That's not to say that there may not be a tornado down, but broad rotation here in South Baldwin County to the point that the Weather Service is maintaining this tornado warning. And let's see, we've got some new information coming in. I apologize about that horrible tone. This is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning. And so I believe what's happening is the Weather Service is, so they're not extending it, they're actually issuing an entirely new warning. Let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus. And we now have 2 active warnings, but only 1 tornado warning. And look, I would not be shocked if, very similar to what happened in Escambia County, Alabama about 2 hours ago, this thing is rotating, no doubt about it. But the Weather Service in this moment has opted to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern part of the Pensacola Metro, areas near Pace, areas out here towards, let's see, you've got Chumuckla, you've got areas near the New York community, you've got areas near Quintet that are included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And so take this as kind of a precursor, a call to action that you may go under a tornado warning in a matter of moments. But at this point, the Weather Service has decided that this is more of a damaging straight line wind threat, and it's on top of Gonzales. If you are, and also Inslee, which sits right here. And so Inslee, Gonzales, you need to be inside, away from windows and doors. But again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning. Molino is also included in this, as is Pace, Chumuckla as well. The Chumuckla Highway, which is in the western part of Santa Rosa County, Florida. All of that south of Chumuckla down to the 5 Points there, which is just to the west of Pace, all included in a severe thunderstorm warning that is valid until 4:30 p.m. And so current time is 3:49. We've had a slew of warnings today, and this overall severe weather threat is going to continue over the next few hours. Now, here's a bit of good news. Once we get through this batch of storms right in through here, you've got another one just to the south of Pensacola Beach. I think what's going to happen is this threat is going to shift over into East Alabama and also into the Florida Panhandle. And so I'm cautiously optimistic that once we get through this round of storms, the severe weather threat somewhat will lessen across South Alabama and potentially Northwest Florida as well. But over the next hour, no doubt about it, this is going to be your axis for severe weather, basically from Evergreen down to, say, Loxley, back to Fort Morgan, and points over to the east. Pensacola, Milton, Crestview, Andalusia, Bruton, all going to have the greater chance of severe weather compared to places back here to the west over in Washington, Clark, and Mobile counties. But again, we are here because of 2 warnings that are currently in effect as of 3:52 p.m. And I haven't gotten word yet on if the Weather Service is going to continue, excuse me, this tornado. Oh, and we got to pass this along. Goodness gracious. We've got a damage photo that has just come in from Sellersville. And so what I'm going to do is actually walk over here so I can get this on screen for you to see it. Because again, this is coming in live. This is live production per se, and it really... it's difficult to do, but what we're going to do is I'm going to add this in so that I can show you this damage. We've got tornado damage in Sellersville, so hang with me for 1 second while I get this up. And again, we got a photo from, this is going to be from Jessica Pittman, and we certainly thank her for this, in Sellersville, Alabama. And I think I'm going to have to pull it up actually on the iPad for you to be able to see it. But again, we had a confirmed report of damage in Molino. No warning on that, by the way, so we'll have to kind of assess that in the days ahead. Molino's right here. We actually had a mobile home potentially destroyed in Roberts. But again, right now, let's talk about what we've got going on. A tornado warning over the next few minutes for areas near Elsinore and Seminole. And by the way, if you're in Alberta, which is on the south side of Baldwin County right here, Alberta, I can give you a clear for now. The tornado threat has clearly shifted to the north, and I believe, I'm cautiously optimistic again, that the Weather Service is going to allow this to expire without extending it further. And so based on the signature on radar, that's what I think is going to happen unless it ramps back up over the over the next several minutes. That very well could happen, as storms today have been cyclical, cycling up and cycling down. Exactly what this storm in South Baldwin County did. And look, if they cycle up, you might get a tornado for 5 or 10 minutes on the ground. It certainly would would not be out of the question. And so that's why we all have to be severe weather ready over the next few hours in case you have a tornado warning in your specific area. So again, Elsinore and Seminole, be in that safe place. Excuse me, as we have an active tornado warning for you. Severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Molino, Gonzales, Inslee, which sits right here on US Highway 29. This thing has clearly moved north of the heart of the Pensacola Metro, but I do note there is another cell coming into Pensacola from the south. And so Gonzales is right here. Could have some damaging wind gusts in Gonzales and Inslee over the next few minutes. Same thing in Pace, same thing right here. There's a community called Quintet, and if you're in Quintet, you need to be away from windows and doors, as we could have damaging wind gusts on your doorstep in a matter of moments. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's very, is that Baldwin County? Foley. Okay, great. We'll try to get that up in just a minute. Again, watching this storm down in Baldwin County and also in southern Escambia County here in Florida, moving toward the Escambia River into Santa Rosa County over the next little bit. I tell you what, we have got to get these up. The damage in Sellersville has been pretty significant. I'm looking at multiple trees down, etc. And again, these are the only two active warnings that we have. Current time is 3:56, and if you're in Alberta or Foley, I gave you an all clear about 5 minutes ago, but just to repeat, if you happen to be tuning in from South Baldwin County, Foley and Alberta, you can now come out of that tornado hiding place as the storm has now shifted up here toward Elsinore and also Seminole. Again, possible tornado is going to be right in through here along US Highway number 90 near Seminole and Elsinore, about to cross Interstate 10 in a matter of minutes. Again, we've been advising no travel on US Highway 90 from Robertsdale all the way back over to areas near Beulah. Same thing on the interstate, Interstate 10 from Beulah all the way back over to Loxley. You don't want to be in those areas driving. That's the worst possible place you can be as a car, so don't be driving over the next little bit in those areas. Just looking at some of the other reports of damage here. Again, current time is 3:57 p.m. All right, and I'm again going to walk off camera just for a second as these storms seem to be continuing their trek to the northeast, and we're going to try to get this incredible views of the damage up. Yep, there we go. All right, perfect. So I'm going to have you take that source in just a second. And look, I appreciate all the damage photos you're sending. First thing I want to do, let's go over here to my laptop in just a second, because we got a picture from the Foley lows. And again, apparently the Foley lows was hit pretty hard. I don't have specifics on that. But again, possible tornado now in South Baldwin County. Again, getting that ready for you to be able to see it. All right, let's go ahead, and I want to look at one more thing before I show you this, see if what we're looking at. There we go. And so again, this is your possible tornado in South Baldwin County. Again, I've been fighting to get that up. Go back to the radar if you can real quick while I make that even bigger. Just because I'm a little worried. I don't want to get out some information that is kind of proprietary and in-house here. We have to be very sensitive of that. And again, this possible tornado, you just saw a picture of it there, is in South Baldwin County. And look, we're going to have to get either a new warning or an expiration over the next little bit, because the storm is clearly outrunning the polygon. And so in about 2 minutes, I think we'll have more information from the National Weather Service. But just to kind of give you a reset before we start delving into these photos and the damage reports and things like that, just to give you kind of where we are, 3:59 p.m. coming up on 4 o'clock, and a low-end severe weather risk does continue. We're not going to have long-track violent tornadoes today, but if you have damage, and we've got damage across the region, it's a big deal for you. And we have had confirmed reports of damage now in Molino, in Sellersville, in Roberts. And I hope and pray that folks heeded the warning there in Sellersville and Roberts, and also the other warnings that we've had today. And I also pray for the folks in Molino. You know, that storm was unwarned. That's a situation that we have sometimes. And so we will, you know, assess that in the days ahead. But the folks in Molino did have confirmed reports of damage. The good news is I've heard no reports of injuries. And so that is certainly a blessing at this point. And let's check on NWS chat here, because I believe this tornado warning is set to expire in a matter of moments. So we'll kind of know what we're dealing with. And yeah, it's off the board now, but I still haven't received the official. All right, yes. So we now have no tornado warnings. You can take that banner down. That is what I wanted to get to before we kind of dive into this damage. And look, hang with me because I'm getting everything set up to show you this damage. I apologize it's taken so long, but you know, when there's a tornado warning, we kind of want to stick with that. We do have one severe thunderstorm that is currently pushing into areas like Quintet, areas near Chumuckla, also Molino, under the gun from this possible damaging wind-producing storm right in through here north of the Pensacola Metro. If you're on the south side of the Pensacola Metro, it's actually about to start heavy raining yet again, as there's another storm moving in. Here's Pensacola Beach. You've got Fort Pickens right here. This is a storm that is under severe limits at the moment, but again, the Weather Service has opted to issue a severe thunderstorm warning due to the fact that we could have damaging straight line winds near Cantonment, near the paper mill, near Quintet, near Molino, along the Escambia River right here. Here's Pace. 5 Points is right there, Woodbine is right here, and you've got Chumuckla right there. So all the areas that I just called out, please be inside, away from windows and doors, and you know, you want to insulate yourself. Anytime you have a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, the idea is to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Same thing, by the way, in a tornado warning. So again, be in that safe place. Let me get ready to show this damage. And I know I've been I hate walking off camera during severe weather, but I want to make sure that we absolutely get this right. And so again, just looking at what we've got going on here. And I think again, just hang with me. I apologize. We've got a new warning to tell you about. So I'm actually going to have to come back on camera to see what that's about as there we go. I just wanted to cut that out. Just preparing the shot for you to see this, and that'll be good enough, all right? So let's turn auto live back on. All right, so this is gonna be a new marine warning. So that is some good news. Again, we've had several marine warnings be issued, and this is going to be actually a new tornado warning as well. So we can now have a new tornado warning that's just been issued for portions of Escambia and Santa Rosa County. And I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be down in through here. This is going to include a big chunk of areas near Quintet, near Chumuckla as well. So let's go ahead and zoom in there. Again, we've been tracking this storm over the last 30 minutes or so. Back over to LD1, we're on 2. There we go. And so, again, if you're near 5 Points, we've been calling that out. Pace Naval Outlying Field, Chumuckla Highway, possible tornado is near Gonzales right now and about to cross the Escambia River over the next little bit. Again, this thing is moving just like this. And here's the deal. You had a tornado-warned storm back here in Baldwin County, down here in Foley, but now the threat has shifted over here into southern Escambia County, Florida, and in Santa Rosa County. And so let me just kind of call out some of the population centers here. If you are in Milton, you are not included in this tornado warning. So again, here's Milton right here, Whiting Field is here, and you've got Pace right here. And I know that polygon kind of cuts right through Pace, but if you live in Pace, you need to be in a tornado-safe place. 5 Points is right there. The new Publix grocery store sits right there near 5 Points. Same thing near Whataburger. There's a car wash right here. Chumuckla Highway is right here. Pace Naval Outlying Field. If you know where the big sports field is on the west side of Chumuckla Highway, Pace Naval Outlying Field is right there. So you see Pace Knoll, that actually means those big sports fields on the west side of the road. Again, possible tornado going to be there in a matter of moments. Again, you want to be in the lowest floor of a site-built structure, away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you possibly can between you and the outside world. Grab a helmet, grab a cooking pot, something to protect your head. Let's go over to graphics and show you what you need to be doing if you're in Gonzales, if you are in Pace, Woodbine, 5 points, lowest floor of the site-built structure. Again, helmets on. Best possible thing you can do is insulate and protect your head, as we have a tornado warning for Pace, for areas like Chumuckla down to 5 points, and also near the athletic fields on the west side of Chumuckla Highway. A lot of you know where that is. Please be in your tornado-safe place. Let's go back over to LD1, and I want to zoom in and see what we've got going on velocity here, because this storm is definitely ramping up. In fact, I know I'm exercising you, but go over to the iPad, if you will, please, ma'am. There's reflectivity, but there is velocity. Here's Gonzales, here's Pace, here's your circulation. This thing is crossing the Escambia River right now. Here's Molino, and again, this is the river right in through here. This thing is crossing into Santa Rosa County, and so again, a tornado warning has just been posted for portions of Santa Rosa County. And I promise you, when we get through this tornado warning, we will look at all these incredible sites of damage that we've got across the region. And I say incredible in a very loose way. I mean, we've got many, just profuse reports of damage across the region. So we're going to get there. And bear with me while I get this alert out. Again, we're sending a tornado warning message, and this is going to be valid until 4:30. And so again, current time is 4:04, and if you're in Santa Rosa County, you're about to get one of our proprietary blasts, per se, if you're involved in the RedZone weather app. I know many people have been asking about the app in the comments. We send out handcrafted alerts. We don't do automated stuff. Those are sent directly from me. And so again, a tornado warning has just been posted for portions of Santa Rosa County, Florida. We also note that a portion of Escambia County, Florida, near Gonzales, is also included in this tornado warning, but clearly the greatest threat is going to be shifting across the Escambia River into Santa Rosa County. All right, there we go. And so we've sent out the alert now. And again, possible tornado is right in through here. Let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus, which is the reflectivity that you're probably accustomed to seeing. And again, I should note, this is the only tornado warning that we have in America as of 4:07 p.m. for portions of Santa Rosa and Escambia counties in Florida. This is not for Escambia County, Alabama. Whoever the person was that put Escambia and Escambia by each other on the map, we'll have to talk about them later. But again, this tornado is crossing the Escambia River, which makes things even more complicated, right, into Santa Rosa County, Florida. And so again, here's Pace. This is US Highway number 90 right here. And so if you're in Milton, you're fine. Point Baker is right here. You've got the big water tower there to the south of Whiting Field. No issues in Point Baker, no issues in Whiting Field. Allentown, no issues for now, although I note that this thing is moving just like this. And so if you're in Allentown or right here near Central High School, I'm putting you on alert that we might have a tornado warning over the next several minutes for areas like Central High School and Allentown over the next little bit. And look, I know this says Chumuckla right here, but Chumuckla is actually a pretty large geographical area in Santa Rosa County. You've got the water system there. The large water tower on the south side of Chumuckla is included in this tornado warning. And so again, areas near and south of Chumuckla, areas near the athletic fields on the west side of Chumuckla Highway, and also 5 points. This tornado is very near or just to the west of 5 points right now. And by the way, if you're not familiar with that area, 5 points is where you have the roads that all intersect in 5 points. You've got Whataburger there, the new Publix, for those of you that are in that area. There's a brand new Publix grocery store right in through there. If you live within 5 miles of that Publix, I need you to be in a safe place. We got a new tornado warning, and this is going to be for Okaloosa County. And so what I want to do, we're now with 2 tornado warnings. And by the way, if you're back in Baldwin County, I don't think I've said this, Elsinore and Seminole, obviously I can give you an all clear. This storm over here in Baldwin County has weakened. We got 1 tornado warning coming into Santa Rosa County. crossing the Escambia River. And if you are in areas like Fort Walton Beach, you are now under a tornado warning that's going to be valid until 4:45 local time. So it looks like we'll be with you for the next 45 minutes or so. But again, here's your new possible tornado that's going to be moving off the Gulf of Mexico into places like Fort Walton Beach along US Highway 98 over the next 5 minutes. And so Fort Walton Beach, Mariester, Wright, Shalimar, also areas near the airport here to the south of Niceville, which is Valparaiso. All of those areas that I just called out, you are now under a tornado warning that is valid until 4:45 local time. This is a new tornado warning. This is separate than the one that we've been talking about over here in Santa Rosa and Escambia County. So again, new tornado warning polygon. And look, this thing is going to move right across Fort Walton Beach. If you're in Fort Walton, get to that tornado safe place. In fact, take down the banner and go to the graphics if you will, please, ma'am. And let's look again. If you're in Fort Walton Beach, Wright, Valparaiso, Shalimar, Lake Lorraine, same thing. You need to be in the lowest floor of a site-built structure, away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. You don't want to be traveling right now on US Highway number 98 from Destin over into Fort Walton. And again, we pulled this out once before today, but if you're in Fort Walton Beach or anywhere near Fort Walton Beach, you need to have one of these on, a helmet. This insulates your head and protects you during times of severe weather. I know it looks funny, you can laugh, but it absolutely can save your life during a tornado warning. Let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus, because I also want to show the issues that we have here just to the south of Molino. And again, helmets on. I get it. It looks funny. You can laugh, again, whatever. But if you're near 5 Points or Shamuckla or areas near Pace, you need to have a helmet on right now, as this thing could absolutely be producing a tornado. This storm right in through here just to the northwest of Milton. By the way, if you're in Milton or Whiting Field or Allentown, technically, this is not for you. This is to your west. But again, tornado warnings, we now have 2, one of which for Santa Rosa and one over here in Okaloosa in northwest Florida. And look, if you're in Pensacola, Gonzales, areas near Ensley, back here towards Beulah as well, I'll give you an all clear. And so those areas, you are now out of the tornado warning, and clearly the threat of the severe thunderstorm warning has passed to your north. And again, downwind from this thing, we talked about this a minute ago, the communities that would be involved, you've got the community of New York, you've got Shamuckla, Brownsdale, and even up here near Jay and Berrydale, I'm putting you on alert. We have a tornado warning to your south that very well could be extended into your location. And so these things are moving very quickly, and they're moving in a straight line to the north and sometimes to the northeast. And so that's where we are. Let's go back over to this storm moving into Fort Walton. And I'm actually going to shift our radar on the iPad over to the Eglin Air Force Base. If you're tracking, by the way, in the RedZone weather app, you don't have to worry about switching radars or anything like that, but I do, as we're kind of looking at high-res radar data here. And yeah, go over to the iPad, please, ma'am. And here's the deal. Here's Fort Walton Beach. You're looking at southern Okaloosa County here. Back behind me, this is Santa Rosa County. Navarre sits right here. Navarre Beach sits right here. And you've got Eglin Air Force Base out in through here. And so again, the tornado warning is only for southern Okaloosa County. We do have an active tornado warning in Santa Rosa County for areas like Pace, Shamuckla, and 5 Points, but Navarre, you are fine for now. And so again, tornado warning for Fort Walton, Wright, Shalimar sits right here, Valparaiso sits right here. Eglin Air Force Base is a large thing. It's not just 1 point, as this map says. It's a huge area. This does include a big chunk of Eglin Air Force Base. And by the way, Niceville is actually not included in the polygon for now, and it does appear that this thing will pass to the west of Niceville. And so be ready in Niceville just in case we have an abrupt change. But as of now, this thing is going to be on top of Fort Walton Beach in a matter of moments. Again, that is a decent signature, a couplet that we could have a possible tornado. We'll go back over to the other warning here. And just to give you some geographical context, let me zoom out. Here's Century. This is US Highway 29. This is the Escambia River that turns into the Conecuh River south of Bruton. And this possible tornado is basically along the Chumuckla Highway, very near or just south of Chumuckla, to the north of Pace, out here towards 5 Points. And you see, again, this is just a great example. Santa Rosa County, Florida is a large county in terms of its land size and geographic area, but this polygon is very, very small. Milton has not and is not included in this tornado warning. Same thing in Whitingfield, same thing in Navarre and areas out here like Gulf Breeze, Holt, Munson, Berrydale, Jay. You are fine. This is not for you. This is for western Santa Rosa County near 5 Points near Chumuckla. And so that's where we are on that. All right, and let's see if we can get out this new alert. Tornado warning for Fort Walton Beach, also Shalimar, Mary Esther, portions of Eglin Air Force Base till 4:45 p.m. And again, that's going to our friends in Okaloosa County. If you're in Okaloosa County, you likely just got an alert from us that we now have a tornado warning over there as well. So again, here's tornado warning polygon number 1. Here's polygon number 2. This severe thunderstorm warning is going to go away shortly. And again, if you're in Pensacola or areas near Gonzales, Ensley, Ferry Pass, or out here towards NAS Pensacola, you are fine. This is not for you. The threat has clearly passed to your north. And I tell you what, I apologize. If you are sending me messages on Facebook, I promise you, I'm getting them and I will go back through them. I'm up to above 100 now, so we're gonna have to look through those. And I wanna go to to my computer if you can in just a minute, so be ready to do that. This is in Foley, so let's go over to that briefly. And here's the deal. Again, this is a bit hard to see, but this video is from David Harrell. I want to show you this just so you'll know exactly what we're dealing with today. And let me re-loop that. This is clearly at the Tanger Outlet Mall there in Foley. And so you see what appears to be a possible tornado right there in Foley. Again, this would have been about 45 minutes ago when we first came on in this specific round. That is at the outlet mall, and that very well could be a tornado on the ground. Again, these storms mean business today. I know we're in a level 1 risk, but doesn't matter. When you get storms loud and proud like this, they can very well do some damage. Go back over to the LD1 if you will, please. Thank you. And again, 2 tornado warnings as of now. There's more dramatic video. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna make this window bigger and I'm gonna ask you to take this full. These videos are phenomenal. So again, thank you to Douglas Harrell. And go back over to my computer if you will, please. And I'll move this over. This video comes to us from South Baldwin County near Foley. Possible tornado. And this video is from, let's see there. You can go back to LD1 while I get the next one ready. That video is from Danielle Strickland. And again, that's the same storm that is kind of in association with this storm that's now in Santa Rosa County. Again, the tornado warning started back here near Foley, and this western fringe of the storm weakened, but the eastern part of the storm became dominant, and it's now producing a tornado warning near 5 Points and Chumuckla. So again, we thank them for their video. Again, that was by Danielle Strickland. We thank her for that. I'll tell you which video is going viral today is this one of the possible tornado near Molino, and that happened a good 2 to 3 hours ago, and we'll show you that at the end. And again, just keep the messages coming. I'm scanning through very quickly to try to piece together what we have, but we saw the possible tornado earlier in Foley, and we thank Douglas Harrell and Danielle Strickland for those videos that they just sent in. Let's go over in just a minute to the iPad, because I tell you what, this thing near Chumuckla and near the athletic fields and near Pace Naval Outlying Field is really, really strengthening. And so go over to the iPad. Same view, but you're looking at velocity. There's your possible tornado right in through there. That is a couplet, a clearly defined couplet, I might add, and it's doing this type thing. You've got counterclockwise circulation. That could be a tornado, and it's very, very faint, but that line that you see right in through there is Chumuckla Highway. This thing is very near that tall water tower on the on the east side of the Chemukla Highway there, south of Chemukla, which sits right there. Again, here's your tornado warning right in through here, and this thing is moving just like that. And so I wouldn't be shocked over the next little bit if we had an extension of this warning up in through here. And so this would be places like potentially Allentown, Chemukla, you've got Jay and Berrydale. We'll know in a matter of minutes if the Weather Service is going to extend this or allow this warning to expire. Let's go back over to live Doppler and we'll go back down to Fort Walton Beach. Again, this is where we have the other tornado warning, dealing with many warnings today. This is a multifaceted severe weather outbreak, and the possible tornado down in through here is clearly near Fort Walton Beach and right on top of Fort Walton. I mean, it's on top of Fort Walton. So Lake Lorraine, which sits right there, Shalimar, Ocean City, also areas you have right here. Be in a safe place. Possible tornado on your doorstep. And again, the tornadoes today are not staying down, but we've had numerous reports of damage. And so when we get reports of damage, that indicates to us that the atmosphere is ripe and ready for tornadoes. Go over to the iPad. This thing is likely producing a tornado near Fort Walton right now. I mean, that is a tiny couplet, but very well could be producing a tornado right in through there. And this thing is moving just like that. And so Fort Walton, be in that safe place. Lake Lorraine, Ocean City, all in through here, be in a safe place. By the way, Eglin Air Force Base starts, the boundary of it is right in through here. And so this is going to be on Eglin property in a matter of moments. If we have perhaps folks watching from Eglin Air Force Base, you need to know that there's a tornado warning that's about to enter the base from the south, moving off the Gulf of Mexico, moving just like that. There's right, also be in a safe place. Again, southern Okaloosa County is what you are looking at right now. And just to kind of take you back and show you exactly what we're looking at across the county, this is not for Crestview, Baker, Milligan, Laurel Hill, Auburn, Florida, also areas near Hurricane Lake, which is right here, areas also near Niceville, not included technically in this tornado warning. This is for the southern part of the county. And the radar is actually now in rapid refresh mode. A few years ago we had the upgrades to the radar and it implemented what's called sales sweeps. And so at the lowest level, we're getting an update at this point every minute as the Weather Service watches this little thing right here. And I tell you what, that is a good indication that we have a tornado potentially on the ground in or near Fort Walton Beach. Again, it can't be stressed enough. If you have a relative there, call them and let them know possible tornado on their doorstep, especially in the Ocean City neighborhood and right of Fort Walton. Be in that tornado safe place as this thing continues to move to the north. Let's go back over to our other storm here. And at this point, this storm does not look nearly as defined, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a tornado down here in Santa Rosa County. Again, Chemukla Highway has been under the gun from Chemukla back down to 5 points in pace. And so that right in through here indicates to me that we could potentially have some damaging straight line winds or even a weak tornado. And I say that very loosely. If it's a weak tornado, it's still a huge deal. If it affects your house, it's a big deal. And so again, that's why we're here, those two tornado warnings. And what I want to do next is go over to, in just a minute, let me pull it up. We're going to go to graphics. Go to the graphics, if you will, please. And let me remind you, a tornado watch does continue for Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton counties, and also Crenshaw, Covington counties, in addition to many counties over here in southeast Alabama, including Auburn and Montgomery, by the way, until 9 o'clock. And so, yes, we have a tornado warning for portions of Santa Rosa and Okaloosa counties, but over the next few hours, I do think that the threat is going to shift over here even farther into southeast Alabama and also into the Florida Panhandle. And so if you have interest there, maybe some relatives or friends in these areas, call them, let them know they're under a tornado watch, meaning they need to have heightened awareness just in case they happen to have a tornado warning like the one that is in place for Fort Walton Beach and Wright. Let's go back over to the iPad and we'll show you this on velocity. And here's the deal. The couplet is right now shifting out of Fort Walton Beach. But again, I want you to stay sheltered if you're in Fort Walton for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll be able to give you an all clear. Again, this thing is coming up on Eglin Air Force Base out and through here. And a bit of good news. Once it crosses into Eglin, there's nobody that lives out here. Now, yes, we have servicemen and women who are working out here, but the population density drops off a cliff once this thing works to the north of Fort Walton, north of Wright, north of Valparaiso. The airport, by the way, is right there, and they should be implementing their tornado safe plan, as their a tornado could be very near that airport, working its way to the north. Again, other tornado warning is over here towards Chumuckla. That's Chumuckla Highway here. This is US Highway 90. If you're in Gonzales, if you're in Inslee, if you are in Pace, I'll give you an all clear. The tornado warning includes areas to the north of Pace, but this thing has missed areas near Pace and Milton, at least the core areas there, near all of the shopping centers in Pace and, of course, over to Milton as well. Milton was never included in this tornado warning particularly, but it was close enough that I'm sure some of your relatives, if you live in Milton perhaps, were included. So again, let's see, and this is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning. So we've got a new warning to tell you about. And this is a severe thunderstorm warning, and let's see who it's for. It's going to be for a portion of Santa Rosa County, and I believe there's another county involved, but I want to make sure I get that right before I pass that along. So we log back into our NWS chat system. By the way, when you're looking at the iPad with me, you're looking here, and you see these colors. These polygons, when you see an orange one, that's a special marine warning for our friends that are boaters and things like that. Red is tornado warnings, of which we have 2, and then these yellow ones are severe thunderstorm warnings. And the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Santa Rosa County. And so same areas. Let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus, and we will show you that here is the new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take off the radar data so we can show you exactly who is involved. And the Weather Service also sending me a message. They're continuing the tornado warning down in Okaloosa. So let's kind of back out here and do a wide view. Tornado warning for areas near 5 Points and Chumuckla. It continues over the next 4 minutes. What's happened, the Weather Service has deemed it necessary to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for places like Jay, Berrydale, also areas near Chumuckla, over to Allentown, all the way back up to places like Dixonville, included in this new severe thunderstorm warning that is on the board until 5:15 p.m. So new severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15 for Munson, for Jay, Berrydale, Whitfield, Fidelis, also areas near New York, Chumuckla. Severe thunderstorm warning due to this tornado warned storm that, again, the Weather Service is going to strip that out and it will be replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's what's going on there. We do, however, have a tornado warning that does continue for southern Okaloosa County over the next 15 minutes or so for areas like Wright, Fort Walton Beach, and Valparaiso. This cell is going to work its way into areas like Eglin Air Force Base over the next little bit along State Highway number 85 that connects Niceville and Crestview, but we are now down to, I believe, 1 tornado warning. Yes, indeed. And so again, the severe thunderstorm warning is replacing the tornado warning that was in effect for Santa Rosa County. And so as of 4/27, 2 cells that we're watching. Let's go back over to LD. Actually, we're already there. I apologize. I just didn't have the radar data turned on. Thanks for being here. By the way, Bentley Martin is executive producing the broadcast, and we are so grateful for her support this evening as we continue to battle these storms with you. It's like a situation where we've had, I don't even know, like 10 warnings today. I mean, we've had more tornado warnings today than we've had in like the past 6 months. And so thanks for being patient with us as we continue to talk you through this. And again, here's southern Okaloosa County. If you are in Fort Walton Beach, the storm has kind of shifted out here to the north of town, but because I know we have some folks in this area that have a Fort Walton zip code, I can't give you an all clear just yet. And so Fort Walton, hang out in that tornado safe space over the next 3 to 4 minutes, and I'll be able to give you an all clear. By the way, there's the airport. It's branded as the Destin Fort Walton Beach Airport, but the airport code is VPS, Valparaiso, which is right in through there. And that area remains under a tornado warning. You got State Highway 85 that connects Niceville up to Crestview. Areas on the southern end of that are involved in that tornado warning that continues on the board until until 4:45, and so 15 more minutes on that thing. And we do note that we just got a message from the Weather Service that this warning has been allowed to expire. And so if you are in Santa Rosa County, Florida, you are now without a tornado warning. We do still have one warning over here in southern Okaloosa County, but as of 4:30 p.m., we now have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for places like Jay, Berrydale, Mount Carmel, Fidelis, New York, but no tornado warning. So again, Santa Rosa County, basically the entire northern half of the county, is under a severe thunderstorm warning due to the fact that we've got this formerly tornado-warned storm moving in from the south. And look, I have to say this, again, we've been talking a little bit ahead of ourselves today about where these storms are going. And if this storm continues on its trajectory, I'm going to go ahead and put Bruton, East Bruton, Riverview, also areas out here near Boykin, Pollard, McCall, be on notice. This thing is going to be moving toward you over the next 30 minutes. Could we have a tornado warning? Yes. Is it likely at this point? Remains to be seen, as the thing has now weakened below tornado warning status in northern Santa Rosa County, Florida. Again, you just saw the warning pop off our screen here. The core of this is bringing very heavy rain to New York and Chumuckla right in through here along State Highway number 89. Here's 89, by the way. This is Florida State Route number 87, and that is Florida State Route number 4 that connects Jay over to Munson. And so no travel right now south of Dixonville all the way back down to Whiting Field on State Highway number 87, and no travel from Point Baker on Florida State Route number 89 all the way back up to Jay, as this entire area is now under a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, there's the polygon and some of the smaller communities that are involved in this new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 5:15 local time. Let's go back down to our tornado warning, though, that continues to plague southern Okaloosa County. And here's a bit of good news. If you're in Fort Walton Beach, I'll give you an all clear. Fort Walton is now out of the danger of a tornado. However, if you're near the airport, Destin Fort Walton Beach Airport, which is Valparaiso, you want to be in that safe place. Same thing out here near Wright. If you're near Wright or in Wright, I need you to stay sheltered. And in those two locations, I'll be able to give you an all clear in 3 to 4 minutes. So again, this is the only tornado warning that we have for any part of our local area. I also note, as of now, we have a new tornado warning until 5:45 for portions of Henry County that includes areas near Abbeville. And so areas near and just south of Abbeville involved in a tornado warning for Henry County over just to the north of Dothan. They're involved in the Dothan TV market, and so we'll let them take care of that. We got a new tornado warning that we need to tell you about. This is going to be for Okaloosa County, and so this likely will be an extension of the warning that has been in place. Again, if you're in Fort Walton Beach, the tornado threat has shifted to your north. This is going to be a new warning that we are getting on the board shortly. There we go. And if you're in Niceville, you are now under a tornado warning. So again, we're going to send out yet another, we've sent out a ton of these today, alert in the RedZone Weather app to let our folks in Niceville know that we now have a tornado warning for you. And while I do this, have you got any comments that we need to pass along, any damage reports or anything like that? And again, let me just stress, I'm over 100 messages behind on Facebook in the private messages. So I promise if you got damage, send them. We will post them as we get them. What you got? Okay, sure, absolutely. Absolutely, we can certainly check Twitter. But again, we got a new tornado warning for southern Okaloosa County. For Niceville, areas also near Duke Field, near also the Destin Fort Walton Beach Airport, which is so again, if you're in Okaloosa County, sending you yet another tornado warning post, and we just sent that. Again, we want to thank everyone who signed up for our RedZone Weather app alerts, available in the alerts tab of the RedZone Weather app. It's a free download. If you don't have it, go ahead and get it. Let's talk about this new warning, and this one is on the board until let's see here, 5 o'clock. And so current time is 4:32. These things are moving very fast. And by the way, this is the same tornado-warned storm that produced the tornado warning down in Fort Walton Beach. So again, it's an extension of that. And if you're in Niceville, I need you to go ahead and get back in that tornado warning shelter. Again, possible tornado is going to be right in through here. Here's the core of the storm. Tornado threat is going to be on the south side of that. And so here's Highway 85. This is Florida State Highway 85. And if you're familiar with the road to Destin, a lot of people travel down to the beach via State Highway 85. And also there's the new road that connects Mid-Bay Bridge back up to this. And so that's going to be the bypass around Niceville. Anywhere near those areas that I just called out, we need you to be in your tornado safe place, as we have a possible tornado moving into areas here along Eglin Air Force Base. Again, here's State Highway 85. Duke Field is here. There's a lookout tower. And look, you may be wondering, why in the world do you have that on the map? It's because you don't have towns out here on Eglin Air Force Base. Duke Field is on Eglin Air Force Base. It's some type of military installation. Same thing with the lookout tower there. All those areas and back to the southwest are included in a tornado warning. By the way, here's the interchange. There's no town right there by it, but that's the interchange where 85 and the new bypass split off. And so if you're traveling right now south of Crestview on Florida State Route number 85, be pulled over, preferably in a gas station or other site-built structure. Again, that's what we want to do. Goodness gracious. All right, let's go over to, hang tight for a second. We've got a video, but I want to make sure that, I think that actually might be a fake video. You know, that's one thing you have to watch out for on social media. I think that's actually from a Japanese news agency, so I'm not going to show that to you, but yeah. But go over to my computer, if you will, please, because this comes from at Higher Jeffrey on Twitter. He is in Santa Rosa County. And again, this shows us kind of a good view, not necessarily of a tornado, but what we're dealing with today. You've got rain, you've got storms, and yes, indeed, maybe some severe weather in the mix as well. I'm going to continue to scroll through there. This is actually from Foley. And again, we've had several videos over from Foley today. Thank you so much to Robert McClellan for sending this in. This is from Adam Olivier with Fox 10 News. And let's go ahead and play that. Look at that. I tell you what, that is a tornado, and this was in southern Baldwin County about an hour ago. And I tell you what, that is no doubt about it, that is a tornado. And just looking at that view, if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be very near Owa. Again, I'm not entirely sure, but the view looks like the same road that's right there by Owa. But look, a great example. Let me just kind of freeze frame this for a second. If you're in a tornado warning, and obviously Niceville and areas near Duke Field, southern Eglin Air Force Base, south of Crestview along 85, you very well may see a view just like this. Again, this comes from Adam Olivier with Fox 10. We thank him for that video on Twitter. And again, that's just one that I'm tagged in. I tell you what, I am so behind and I apologize. I'm going to get to these, but I'm just scrolling through to see what we've got in terms of damage. All right, so go back over to my, Live Doppler Plus, please, and let's kind of give everyone a sense of what's going on. Again, we're here to talk about the tornado warning that continues until 5 o'clock for southern Okaloosa County. At this point, as of 4:38 p.m., this is the only tornado warning that we have on the board, and it's for southern Okaloosa County, and it continues until 5 o'clock for Niceville and for areas near Eglin Air Force Base, including Eglin Air Force Base, and also areas near Duke Field. And so anywhere near State Highway 85, south of Crestview, no driving, but you want to be in a safe place if you live within, say, 3 to 4 miles of there, as that is where we have this possible tornado now north of Fort Walton Beach. And look, if you're in Wright, we gave Fort Walton Beach an all clear about 5 minutes ago. If you're in Wright, areas here near the Valparaiso Airport, will give you an all clear. Again, it's so important that you know when you can come out of the tornado hiding place, and clearly this threat is near or just to the west of Niceville in southern Okaloosa County here on Eglin Air Force Base, coming up towards Duke Field along State Highway 85. So again, that's the tornado warning. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the severe thunderstorm warning that is currently in progress for the northern part of Santa Rosa County in Florida. Chumuckla Highway is right in through here. It connects J over to, or excuse me, down to Chumuckla. Not large hail, but damaging straight line winds possible over the next little bit as this storm moves just like this on top of Berrydale and Fidelis over the next little bit. And so you know what that means. No driving right now from J all the way back over here to the Okaloosa Santa Rosa state line, or excuse me, county line, I apologize, which is just to the west of Baker. So again, no driving on State Highway 4 and no driving on Florida State Route number 89 from J all the way back down to Point Baker as this very strong storm continues pushing just like that towards Berrydale and Fidelis. Also, no driving on State Highway 87 from Dixonville all the way back down to Whiting Field. And so those are kind of some of the roads involved in this severe thunderstorm warning. And the National Weather Service has opted to continue this tornado warning over here in Okaloosa County. At least they're sending out kind of a conflicting message that we're going to have to clarify. I think what's happened is polygon number 1 has been canceled, and polygon number 2, in other words, the new one, is going to continue until 5 o'clock. But again, we gave an all clear to Wright and to Fort Walton Beach, and so if you're in those areas, you can come out of that tornado safe place, but Duke Field and Niceville be in a safe place. Let's zoom in because I think they've kind of refined the polygons. They have gotten really good, the National Weather Service has, at including folks that need to be included and leaving folks out that don't need to be bothered. That is just a blessing. And it looks like the core of this thing has passed and is passing to the west of Niceville, out here on the rural part of Eglin Air Force Base. But if I were in Niceville, I would stay in my tornado safe place with my helmet on for, say, 5 more minutes, and then I'll be able to give you an all clear. But no driving right now on 85, State Highway 85, from Crestview all the way back down to areas here like Wright. And also, Antioch Road. This is Antioch Road right here, which connects areas here near the river all the way back down to 85 near Crestview, kind of a bypass there. And basically from that Tom Thumb right there at the corner of Antioch Road and State Highway 85 back down to Niceville, absolutely no travel. So again, that kind of sets the scene of where we are. And I tell you what, let's go back over to the iPad. I am a little concerned about Santa Rosa County because we have no active tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning polygon does continue for the next 15 to 30 minutes or so. And this indication suggests that this storm may be strengthening some. And it's going to continue moving like this into ultimately Escambia County in Alabama. Again, we put our folks in Bruton, East Bruton, Riverview, Boykin, Pollard on notice about 20 minutes ago that we may have issues, and indeed, this storm is moving just like this. And so be ready to do something about it if we have a tornado warning issued for Escambia County here in Alabama. Again, don't be shocked if we have a new warning issued in this area, perhaps for this mesocyclone that you see there that could ultimately produce a tornado. In fact, I'm going to step through here, excuse me, and see exactly how we're trending there. No doubt about it, this thing could be producing strong winds. It's hard for you to see, but this is Florida State Route number 89, right in through here, south of J, and the Chumuckla Highway starts right there. This is the Chumuckla Highway. Brownsdale sits right here. Mount Carmel sits right here. Berrydale sits right there. And if I'm in Berrydale, or if I live in between J and Berrydale on State Highway 4 right here, I'm inside, I'm away from windows and doors, and I'm getting ready to do something about it because I may have damaging straight line winds. And I tell you what, this thing is ramping up, so I wouldn't be shocked if we had another tornado warning over the next little bit. Just checking a few other sources here. Again, I want to thank Bentley Martin for being here this evening. and we do now have some tentative damage reports. Let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus, please. And I tell you what, we're going to look at it in a bit once we get all the warnings off the board. It's so important that you get warnings. I don't want to get so caught up in what has happened that we forget to tell you about what is happening. And so that's why I don't really go to damage until after the fact. But we've had so many reports of damage, and this thing in southern Okaloosa County, the Weather Service is now receiving tentative reports that we have had damage in potentially Fort Walton Beach. So you can add that to the list. You've got Molino, you've got Damascus, you've got Sellersville, areas out here near Roberts, Fort Walton Beach that have had damage. We also observed a very strong signature of potentially a tornado near Highland Home in northern Crenshaw County. So what is that? And Foley. We had a tornado in Foley that we saw with our own eyes a bit ago. So that's what, 6 or 7 places that have had damage. And let me just say this, you know, and I appreciate all of you watching, but everyone needs to know, even on a level 1 day, you see what we're getting. We have these storms that ramp up and ramp down, and that's why I always say, if you go under a tornado warning, it's a big deal. If you have one tornado, it's a huge deal for the folks affected. And so that's why we do what we do, even on level 1 days. I don't want people to become so complacent when I say level 1, marginal risk, that they think, oh, nothing's going to happen. Clearly, examples like today prove that just completely wrong. And so again, we're here because of this tornado warning that continues for the next 15 minutes or so for southern Okaloosa County near Duke Field and just to the north of Niceville along State Highway 85. There's really not many populated places out here because of Eglin Air Force Base. And again, that's where we have the tornado warning. Crestview, Destin, now Fort Walton are not included. And look, this doesn't look terribly too impressive off the NWS Mobile radar. In fact, go back over to the iPad. We'll show you the same view on velocity. And again, doesn't look impressive at all, but we know the drill. This thing has ramped up, it's ramped down, and it evidently did damage when it was near Wright and Fort Walton Beach. So yes, indeed, it has ramped down over the last few frames, and I wouldn't be shocked if we had a cancellation of the tornado warning if it doesn't ramp back up. Clearly, this storm up here in Santa Rosa County is becoming the dominant storm at this point. And let's see here. Here's J. This is going to be State Highway 89. This is State Highway 87. No driving near J or near Berrydale or Fidelis due to this severe thunderstorm. Again, there's no active tornado warning for Santa Rosa County, but watching this storm, it's ramping up. I'm telling you, we very well could get a warning over the next little bit. And one thing that, just to kind of peg the nerd meter here, watching the inflow, there's a good bit of inflow potential here. And when you see something like this, that may be why it's ramping up. It has a clear shot to the Gulf of Mexico where that moisture can stream in and strengthen the thing. So again, if I'm in Bruton, Riverview, East Bruton, be ready to implement that tornado safety plan as we have a very strong thunderstorm in northern Santa Rosa County in Florida. Back over to LD1 we go. And just to kind of give you a wide overview of the entire region, again, one tornado warning as of 4:47 p.m. for southern Okaloosa County. That does not, at this point, include Destin or Fort Walton Beach. However, in fact, just as I say that, I think we've canceled the warning. Yes, NWS has canceled the tornado warning. So, shifting gears for a second, it is now 4:48 p.m. here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, joined alongside Bentley Martin, executive producing the broadcast tonight, and we thank you for watching. As of now, we have no active tornado warnings, but we're going to hang here over the next few minutes because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. Under normal policy, we don't hang out for severe thunderstorm warnings, but because there is a heightened risk of a tornado warning being issued over the next several minutes, I'm going to hang with this until this thing either weakens or ramps up. And so we just got to hang out here for a bit. Let's zoom in here. Again, current time is 4:48. No active tornado warnings. A severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Berrydale, Fidelis, areas near Dixonville, areas near Munson, Beelandville, also included in this severe thunderstorm warning. State Highway number 87 is this snaky looking road right here. This is State Highway 4. And so if I am driving, maybe eastbound from J, I'm pulling over immediately because this thing could be producing damaging straight line winds between Berrydale and Jay over the next little bit. And by the way, if you're in Munson or here near the Blackwater River State Forest along State Highway 4, clearly the threat, go back to the iPad, that thing's glitching a little bit. Clearly the threat is going to be to your west. And so again, Munson I think is going to be okay, but just know you're technically under a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's rotation in the atmosphere, no doubt about it, doing this lingo just like that. That's your couplet. And this is basically on top of Berrydale right now. And again, what we're going to do, because we have no active tornado warnings, is hang out for the next few minutes. And I am cautiously optimistic, yes indeed, looking at our coverage area, we have one storm that we are focused on. The one in Okaloosa that formerly produced a tornado warning, there's nothing there at this point. That's good news. Yes, it's raining. Yes, it's thundering, lightning, but the tornado threat at this point has lessened. And I tell you what, let's zoom into this thing in northern Santa Rosa County because it's holding its own, but it definitely it doesn't appear to be as concise of a rotation, which is what you want to see for a tornado warning to be issued. And again, we want to thank our friends at the National Weather Service for doing a phenomenal job today of issuing tornado warnings. We have had no significant reports of injuries or deaths or anything like that, which we are so grateful for. Property can be replaced. You cannot be replaced. And so if we lose property, that's one thing, but we don't want to lose people. And again, I'm so sorry for the victims that have been affected by the storms today with the property damage. But again, no reports of injuries or deaths, which I'm incredibly grateful for. Let's go back over to LD1. There we go. And while we look at that briefly, again, we're here because we have a severe thunderstorm warning over the next little bit for areas like Berrydale and Fidelis and areas just to the east of Jay. Excuse me. And while we look at that, we're going to get up some of the videos that have been sent our way, tags and things like that. And again, thank you. I don't know, 200 messages behind on Facebook or something like that. And so I promise we will get to those and I'll reply to each one of you tonight. But we got to talk about what's happening out there right now. And I think at this point it would be safe to kind of shift to looking at some other things here. And some of the videos coming in today, again, we've been kind of battling this. I'm not entirely sure that they're legitimate. You know, social media is a powerful tool, and it's really why we're here, but sometimes there are things on social media that may not be entirely legit. And so I'm just watching to see if we have any video. Again, I think this is going to be probably the best video I've seen all day long. Let's go over to my computer, please, ma'am. And again, this is, in terms of the convective videos, this is the tornado that affected Foley. This is courtesy, by the way, of Adam Olivier with Fox 10 News on Twitter. He is at Adam Olivier Fox 10. Tornado in Foley. I mean, look at that. It just doesn't get much more classic than that, especially around here. You know, we have a problem of seeing rain-wrapped tornadoes. This one is very visible on the ground. And again, this was in Foley about an hour and a half ago. And let's see if I can freeze frame it to kind of show you. Look at that. Condensation funnel here, definitely a tornado touching the ground right there in Foley. And so we're going to have to assess the damage and see what's happened in Foley. Back over to how do we go, please? It's going to be coming into places like Dixonville over the next 5 minutes. And so strong storm really moving out of this polygon. We'll have to see if the National Weather Service continues this warning. And I'm going to check on that super briefly here to see what they're going to do, because that will kind of determine how long we stay with you. And I am getting a note on NWS chat that NWS, in their determination, continues to suggest that an overall weakening trend is happening. And so we're on the iPad. Let me show you the velocity view of this. If you've been tracking this storm along with me at home, this signature is more broad in terms of the rotation. Yes, indeed, some strong straight line winds possible, but overall, in the National Weather Service's assessment, this storm is weaker, and thus at this point, a tornado warning will not most likely be required for Escambia County, Alabama, or Santa Rosa County, and so that's a bit of good news. Now, let me also pull up, I think we had some images from, excuse me, from Sellersville, and I want to get those pulled up because, again, we've got many folks across Escambia County, Alabama who watch, and I'm so grateful for that. And I tell you what, after this event, we are going to introduce a better way to keep up with all this because, again, we are so blessed by your support that it's so difficult to keep up with all of the messages. Again, no active tornado warnings as of 4:54 p.m. There we go. All right, let's take my laptop full, please. And these are pictures coming in from Sellersville. Let me scroll to the top. There's a boatload of these. Look at that. I tell you what, that is exactly the type of damage that we have seen today across our region. You see limbs down. You see perhaps some type of old structure there. I'm not really sure. But damage just like that out in Sellersville. And again, I don't know if this was caused by a tornado or damaging straight line winds or what, but clearly something happened out in Sellersville, Alabama. Look at that, trees down. This is out in the middle of the woods there to the east of Dixonville and to the west of Alaflora. Big tree down there. Again, this is all from Sellersville, Alabama. Look at that big tree across the road there, dirt road. Trees snapped in two, and I would not be shocked if this damage was done by a low-end tornado. But again, this should serve the point that anytime you have a severe weather risk, level 1, level 5, doesn't matter, you can have issues. Let's go back over to the graphics, please, ma'am. And as we conclude our coverage on this Sunday evening, April 22nd, we note that a tornado watch continues for portions of southeast and east Alabama until 9 p.m. tonight. Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika, areas near Troy, Eufaula, Ozark, Enterprise, Elba, Opp, Andalusia, Florala, Luverne, Dothan, Sampson, Geneva, all included in the tornado watch. Same thing here in Milton, Pace, Berrydale, Crestview, Holt, Destin, Fort Walton, over to Defuniak Springs, down to Panama City, and also Port St. Joe, included in a tornado watch valid until 9 p.m. tonight. Again, you got to be weather ready. I do think that overall the threat is going to shift farther to the east over the next few hours, but we do continue the tornado watch until 9 p.m. for our easternmost counties. So again, please have a way to receive the warnings over the next little bit. Back to the iPad we go, and I tell you, this thing in Santa Rosa County, it's not what I would consider weak, but it's not exactly super strong either. And again, your possible rotation with this storm is right in through here. And so what we're going to do, because we have no active tornado warnings for any part of southwest Alabama or northwest Florida, let's go back over to Live Doppler Plus, please, as we conclude. We're going to say goodbye for now, and we do note that there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here in Lowndes County, Mississippi, there just to the west of Choctaw County. That storm going to be moving into Choctaw County near Butler over the next little bit. Looks like we got a line of showers here coming into Washington and Mobile counties, and also this strong storm near Dixonville is moving just like this. And so that's going to be moving into eastern Escambia County into places like Roberts and Bethel over the next little bit. Also, heavy rain continues across much of southern Santa Rosa near Navarre County, near Navarre and near Okaloosa counties. We've got cities and counties running together now that we've been doing this for like 5 hours straight. And so, again, no tornado warnings as of 4:58 p.m. If we have more warnings, we will come right back. But as of now, we are good. Tornado watch continues for our easternmost counties until 9 p.m. On behalf of all of us at RedZone Group LLC, I'm Spinks Megginson saying goodbye for now. If we have warnings, we will